So sitting in cash in foreign countries where the interest rates are low and inflation is low is more comfortable. In India, sitting in cash for too long can be detrimental because My name is Arpit Arora. I'm India's leading personal finance expert and passive income coach. I'm a TEDx speaker and also a financial influencer, working on that one single mission to help entrepreneurs and professionals to be not dependent on that one single source of income so that they can have abundance of money in their life just by managing the money they already have. Is cash an asset or a liability? What do you think? Do you think cash is an asset or a liability? So from this very topic, we're going to discuss something very interesting. From your perspective, do you think cash is an asset or a liability? Cash can be an asset or a liability depending on how you're eventually going to use it. I'll explain you. If cash was an asset, or rather if cash was a liability, would Warren Buffett sit in cash? No, who is the best, the most sort of investors in the world today. He would not sit in cash if he knows that cash is a liability, right? He must have got some plan in his mind to use that money in a certain way where he can use it like an asset. Because if Warren Buffett also puts the money into a certain bond and makes in US markets, let's make 3% returns, he rather not get the 3% return and he rather invest only into a stock, even if he has to sit for 2 years to wait for that opportunity. That's one thought process. The other part where the cash becomes, this is how the cash becomes an asset. How does a cash become a liability? When you don't have any mechanism to do this and you just sit in cash, then inflation and a little interest you're going to get on this cash, this becomes liabilities for you. Inflation, surely, even if whatever return you're making, inflation is going to eat your money away. So sitting in cash in foreign countries where the interest rates are low and inflation is low is more comfortable. In India, sitting in cash for too long can be detrimental because you almost end up losing 10% in an entire year. So one needs to find that sweet spot first as per the economy. If your economy is a high inflation economy, then sitting on cash is not a good idea. But if it's the other way around, you can do so. Eventually, how you're going to use this cash is what is going to define if it's an asset or a liability. Like the strategy that we use is, rather than sitting in pure cash, we sit in bonds. I'll tell you what I do. I hardly keep a few thousand rupees, 10s, 20s, 30s, no more than 50,000 in my account at any given point. All my expenses are happening from my credit card. From my credit card, my business is paying for it, or the cash balances I have in my bank are aligned with the credit card expenses. So at no given point does my credit card ever default, or debits are all automatic. And the major part of the expenses done from the business, so that is also taken care of. So I don't need money in the bank. So what do I do with my money? Now, I don't always have opportunities to invest in stocks or indexes or any growth-based assets. So what do? I keep all of my money in bonds. So my bond investing is a better method than keeping money in the bank. And it's a midway to invest further into any opportunity-based aggressive investment opportunity or tactical investment opportunity. So I still get more than what the bank is going to give me. In case I have to exit in the middle, I might not get the full return that the bond has promised me, but I for sure will be making a lot more in the new opportunity I'm going to invest in. One example of that you already saw in Feb when we invested in Nifty at 15,800. So our goal should be using our money in such a way that you're always better off than the bank. And when the opportunity cost comes, it takes care of even a few percentile. If you get less return than what you were initially promised in the bond, your next opportunity gives that to you in a matter of days or weeks or months rather than sitting. So if you exit bond in between, then you get STCG. So that's also not a problem. Like I said, that every year it could be STCG or LTCG, it could be both. We don't know कि वो उसमें से क्या निकलने वाला है, short term capital gain आएगा या long term आएगा. But in the last quarter of every financial year, we start tallying what are the short term and long term capital gains we have. And the other assets that we've invested in, usse we start doing the tax loss harvesting methods. Like one example I gave you today, and many others I've given you in the past, that you can, like I've invested into a stock is trading at less than the price, but I still intend to stay into the stock. I will sell the stock and buy it again. I will book my short-term capital loss, offset it with short-term capital gain. So there are many methods. End of the day, your cash is not waiting idle. It still is working hard for you. You're not paying legal taxes to the government without any complications. And this is the way you are managing your inner finances. Like जितना निचोड़ सकते हो उसमें से आप उतना निचोड़ रहे हो. This is the approach that we are trying to take.